criminal justice system, some threats can't be seen, only sensed. On the front lines are canine handlers and their dogs. One trained by discipline, the other driven by instinct. Together they search, track, and take down those who run. This is their training.
We purchase our dogs green, which just means they have a basic foundation where there's been testing done, so we know they're genetically suitable to do the job. But there's no levels of control, no real formal training, and everything is done in-house. So this is very much a time where we get to know them and they get to know us with no real expectations. Dogs are going to be environmentally confident. Regardless of the environment they're in, they're not going to be affected by things like slippery floors or thunderstorms or loud noises or things along those lines, and making sure they're social dogs because they interact with the public, they interact with other officers, but they also have the capability to do the apprehension work and the patrol work that we're going to be asking them to do.
Tracing target odor to source.
Case law is critically important for a canine handler. In this classroom section, handlers learn the legal boundaries and proper protocols for deploying their dogs. It guides them toward the best practices both on and off the streets.
The case, basically what it was, February 21st, 1988, a armed robbery call for service out of Maryland.
There's way more of an academic side to this than folks probably know about. We really go into like the behavioral science of how dogs learn and the why of what we're doing in our training methods, and also we go into a pretty extensive legal block where we learn what we can and cannot do with the dogs, and we review case laws from all over the country where handlers have made really good decisions with their dogs and set precedent, and handlers have made not so good decisions with their dogs and unfortunately made bad precedent, but we learn from all that so we can go out and again utilize our canine partners in accordance with state and federal law in addition to our policies and procedures.
Within a couple of minutes, officers were able to locate the van.
It's probably one of the most important things that we can be doing. Obviously right now in the beginning stages of our dogs, we're not doing too much handling. We're watching, we're learning, we're experiencing how to actually train our dogs. So instead of just, sitting here not really doing anything, we're pouring basically all our hard work into the classroom portion, learning that case law, learning what we can and can't be doing with these dogs and how we're supposed to be doing it.
We're good for the area search, we're good for the track in those situations.
Even though every scenario is different in terms of what you're going to see on the street, there's a lot of underlying circumstances or situations that are going to be very similar, and we use that case law to kind of judge and base our decision on what's reasonable, what a reasonable person would think, on how a dog could be utilized and how they should be utilized.
And there is trained odor in the search area.
Already, there's some glaring case laws that we've reviewed already in the last 3 weeks. Verbal announcements are big with Sergeant Leggett, as well as these canine case laws, so that's definitely the biggest takeaway so far. It's just it's a different realm of policing, one that obviously we're newer to, and you have criminal case law, and then obviously getting into the canine specific, definitely eye-opening that not only do I have to keep myself squared away, but also keep in mind what my dog is doing and how he's operating out in the field.
Now it's time to get back to the dogs as they train at the odor wall. Sergeant Leggett says that this wall is a crucial tool in developing the dog's detection skills.
So when we use the odor wall, it's the same idea. We're taking a neutral stimulus or something that means nothing to the dog. And the first couple of weeks it's been black powder, which is one of the core odors these dogs will be trained to search for. And again, we've paired that with the presence of hot dogs. It started off with hot dogs and black powder being in the same hole. Dog puts his nose in the hole where he smells hot dogs because he naturally wants to be there to eat the hot dogs, but he also smells black powder. As soon as he puts his nose in, we mark that. When we say marking, we use a mechanical clicker to indicate that the dog did something correctly. And he will learn over time that the sound of that mechanical clicker, again through classical conditioning, means I'm gonna get a reward. So he hears the click, gets delicious hot dog. At this point now, we've actually moved away. The hot dog is away from the black powder, and we've actually put the hot dog out as a distractor because we don't want to train our dogs to search for hot dogs. in that wall where there's several holes. In one of the holes will be hot dogs. The dog can stick his nose in that hole as much as he wants to. He can scratch at it. There's nothing he can do to access those hot dogs. But as soon as he puts his nose in the hole where the target odor is, or in this case the black powder, we'll click and mark that behavior and feed the dog a hot dog. Again, same idea over time. They learn, I get the thing I want through this thing that previously meant nothing. These dogs didn't come with any desire to look and find black powder. But again, through time and pairing those things, the dog will develop a very high desire for looking for black powder because it knows it's a gateway to a reward.
The odor wall, he was struggling with the first 2 weeks just in terms of figuring out what he's supposed to be doing, right? But this week it seems like he's a whole different dog. He's understanding the task that we're asking him to do, and he's thinking about how he's supposed to do it and actually completing it pretty well. So I'm very pleased with this week.
You're imprinting them off some of the most basic odors like gunpowder, Pyrodex, things of that nature. Different gun oils. It can be the difference in the smell of burnt gunpowder after a firearm's been fired versus fresh powder that's in a bullet. So that's going to help with locating, bullet casings that may be used in any type of crime where we could come out and try to locate that evidence for, whatever unit's needing it.
Next time on Paw and Order, obedience is more than commands. It's trust. Are the dogs at that stage yet? Find out next week.